All right, welcome back into a Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Thank you very much for tuning us in here today. Hopefully, you've got us on the background somewhere in the barn or the shop or the garage or even the office. We like you taking us with you wherever you go. Let's take a look at some of these prices. We had corn down overnight, but it's tried to come back here. We're right about that unchanged line, maybe just a little bit underneath it. SEP's down 3/4 of a cent, 3 ticks. 390s last were 3 cents from the highs. And I'm going to call that 4 1/4 cents from the lows. So not really doing too much right now. We've got a Dees board, the new crop, that's down 1/2 cent to 406 1/2. And that's 2.5 cents from the highs, 4.5 cents from the lows. Right. So that's what's happening in corn. Let's move on to the beans and see what's going on there. Well, we've come back a little bit here, right? August beans, let's go. SEP beans down 12 1/4 to 10.19 1/4. And we've had about a 21 cent range. So that's what's happening there. We're kind of right smack dab in the middle of it. You can look at the new crop. No, that's down 10 cents to 10.30 3/4. And that's in the middle of that range as well. And that's been about a 21 cent range, 21 cent range as well. So there you go. We're right in the middle of 20 cent ranges in beans across the board. Let's go to wheat in Chicago. Chicago wheat. Well, there you go. SEP's up 3/4 cent to 5.40 1/4. You go to, let's go right, pick out March. That's down 1 tick, 1/4 cent to 5.84 1/2. And again, we've had okay ranges of about 15 cents. We're kind of right in the middle of it. That's going to be wheat in Chicago, March 5.84 3/4. So if we move on to the hard red in Kansas City, that's down 1 3/4 cents in SEP. 5.58 1/2 is last there. Again, 6.5 cents off the lows, 7.5 cents off the highs. So again, we're in the middle of these ranges. March hard red wheat in Kansas City, that's down 1 1/4 cents to 5.89 3/4. Let's move on to the spring wheat in Minneapolis. They've got some green arrows here. This is good. SEP's up 4 1/4 cents to 5.91 3/4. That's about 1 3/4 cents off the high of the day, 9 1/4 cents off the low. 10 1/4 cents off the low. March is up 3 cents to 6.29 1/2. So there you go. That's spring wheat. Got some green arrows there. 3 to 4 cents higher. Cotton, well, that's down 29.6 in East. That's the new crop. 67.49 is last there. That brings us to our next guest analyst, Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading in Valparaiso, Indiana. Tommy, thanks for being on. All right, brother. What are your thoughts here on these grain prices?
Well, just absolutely amazing that we had what would go down as the third biggest spike in volatility in stock market history. And here we're just casually strolling along, corn down 1/2, beans actually seeing some selling pressures. That crop looks to be getting bigger. There's a bunch of farmers who are just sitting around saying, oh my God, I can't believe what's happening here. I have old crop, I have nothing sold for new crop. Friend of mine, a friend who you know from the Board of Trade, Frank Brumfield. Frank bought a grain elevator down Mississippi called Delta Grain, and they received their first load of soybeans yesterday. Had a big celebration, all types of food, taco buffet, the whole deal. Harvest is starting in the South. When that happens in the South, if you're up in the North, you better start wrapping things up. You got to stop pretending you don't have a crop and figure out if you do have a crop. And from what I'm hearing by how quiet some of the phones are, the complaint lines are quiet. Quiet on that there's a crop. Complaint lines are ringing a lot that they don't like the price. You and I, we go to the exchange to see the price get discovered. Mother Nature and farming practices bring home the bushel. So as I always say, we're in the bushel business. Whether you like the price or not, we have to get ready for harvest, and you're seeing that. But going back to the outside markets, absolutely fascinating what's going on. I'm sure you could talk for an hour or two at least about this yen trade and everything else. And I don't think we'll be able to do it in a little 3-4 minute segment, but I will tell people this. Our friends Jim Urio and Bob Icino did a special about it yesterday. And if you like those two fan favorites from the Cow Guy Close, there's a great link. Just Google their name, search them on Twitter, whatever. They did a great little special about the yen trade. And, you know, we could learn a lot from learning from people smarter than us, Scotty.
There you go. That's why we have you on, brother. All right. Stay right there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk more livestock with Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading, Valparaiso, Indiana. Be right back after this. All right, welcome back. It's time to take a look at some of these livestock prices, our four-legged friends. Why don't we jump right in and get a live cattle board up and see what we've got going on. And we're about 67 cents lower across the board. October's down 67 cents to 178.32. And we've got a February board down 72 cents to 178.37. So anywhere between, say, 57 and 72 cents off across the board there when we talk about live cattle. Moving from live cattle to the feeders, see what we've got going on over there. SEP's down $1.50 to 239.75. You go a little bit further out the deferreds to November. That's down 75 cents to 237.17. All right, so it seems pretty quiet if you ask me, though. How about lean hogs? Well, they're better. $1.25 better in October. 76.97 is the price. You go out the deferreds a little bit to say Fab. That's up 70 cents there to 72.82. All right, let's bring back in our guest analyst who been so patiently waiting in the wings. All right, Tommy, anything jump out of you there when we talk about these livestock prices?
Buckle up, Buttercup, because when you can open feeders down 400 and sell feeders down 400 and buy them limit literally about 30 seconds later, it's thin. So for as bullish as the market is, where was all the buying? It took a limit down. Now we have new limits in cattle. For some of you guys kicking it old school, you're used to hearing, oh, cattle had a bad day, $3. That's not how it works anymore. $5, $6 in the lives, $8 in the fats. Price can be discovered real quick. I've said on your show several times, sometimes I get compliments, sometimes I get hate mail. We'll take it all, just like you do at the cow phone. But they never email you before risk happens. So people like you, as obnoxious as you are, but I love you, you were sounding the alarm for 6 months, trying to tell farmers and ranchers and everyone else, I know you see the stock market all-time highs, but be careful, folks. We're seeing problems out there. Those problems happened yesterday, and cattle were closed when those problems happened. So the new price had to be discovered. Hogs doing okay, and live cattle up a little bit, but feeders down. They never email you, Scotty, and that's why kudos to you. When I say obnoxious, I mean it with a compliment in that you were very firmly, like a father would tell a son or a child or anything else. Watch out, folks. I'm old enough to know better. I have gray hair. In your case, not as much hair, but that's called older and experience. What say you, cow guy?
It's from pulling my hair out because, yeah, you're right. And, this is to your point. They're still the signs, and they haven't gone away. The market's trying to tell you today it's all gone, everything's fine, please move along, but it's not. And we have some systemic problems, and part of it's our $35 trillion debt. Part of it's the fact that we're almost to the point we're going to be printing money to pay off our interest, not even our principal. There's issues out there that aren't going to go away, and everybody wants to make them go away so everybody's comfortable again and it's not horrible, but yesterday's sell-off didn't do anything to fix anything, right? There's not any more houses to buy. There's not any lower mortgages than we had. There's not cheaper food to be sold. I mean, we've still got an issue here. So I think the next go-around really is going to be watching how the Fed reacts. If they do cut rates, what's that do to inflation? Remember that, folks? We're not done with that either. So it's going to be a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. They're in a bad spot, but you know what? They put themselves in it. That's the issue. Thanks for that, Tommy. I wanted to get that off my chest. Tommy Grisafi, Advanced Trading. He'll be sitting in for me. I'll be gone for the next 3 days on a speaking tour in the Midwest. So getting out and about and pressing the flesh.
You could be running for office soon.
No,
See that happening, maybe.
No,
yeah. Shaking hands, kissing babies.
That closet is big, and there's a lot of stuff in it.